Hi there! That's right, you guessed it, it's from wonderfully sunny, or rather autumnal England today. It's of course the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time for another fantastic, divine tarot show. That's right, we've got the Book of Thoth Tarot here ready and waiting. We've got a line of questions sitting there ready and waiting for me. If you want to request a question to be tackled in the tarot show, your own inquiry done for you free of charge in this roughly once a week show. I do tend to get it out either on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday normally speaking, but you know, remember to subscribe obviously. Important. And watch as many of them as you can, because my performance style is tremendous and I know that you all love me out there. I know that's me getting a bit arrogant, isn't it? But never mind, here we go. I'm shuffling like crazy as is traditional, and I'm just be about to crack on with the first reading of today. If you haven't yet voted for me in the awards, remember there's a link down there which you can go to and you can vote for the psychic line that I work on, as well as myself who works on that psychic line. There's a few other links down there, including to like another channel which I'm working on for alternative energy. I'm really pleased. I've not only made my own solar panel with reclaimed parts, I've also wired it up to the grid now thanks to a grid tie inverter, and part of the energy which is being used to run my computer so I can get this show uploaded is coming from the sun. Alright, I personally find that very exciting anyway. But that's a complete and utter irrelevance. We'll just crack on with the first few questions of today. Remember, a tarot reading is legally billed as an entertainment service for good common sense reasons. And here we go. Ms. T and Mr. B. Yep, you can use nicknames or aliases during the tarot show. It's not a problem for me at all. Make sure you include in your private message precisely, the name you want to go by, because we have all different types. That is quite a common theme. People do tend to do this. We'll see how it's going to work out between yourself and your partner. Here we go. Standard 8-card relationship reading. Shuffling like mad. I want this to be a good, thorough, random reading, so whatever comes out is whatever comes out. Here we go. Right, okay, now you mentioned in your private message to me he's trying to get over some kind of like depression, anxiety and the rest of it, and there we see it. Okay, the Hangman sometimes speaks about treachery or seeing the world in a bit of a negative way at times. It's reversed in this particular reading, talking about progression away from a negative way of thinking on towards something slightly more positive, with dramatic signs of change associated with that. Okay, the Death card is a good card if we're talking about personal change, growth, transformation and becoming a better quality of individual. On your side of things, you still feel very isolated away from him, but that's understandable. You've got a willingness to try and make it work out. There is still a feeling of a bond between the two of you. I think that he feels it as well, but remember, it's going to be a bit of a faulty start. Okay, it's going to be a bit erratic. We've had these signs come up before, probably to the point whereby you don't even need me to tell you what one of the traditional meanings is here. Okay, it is talking about love, but it's also talking about the sense of not quite being able to get around to or to doing the next right thing. Okay, so a bit of fear and anxiety during a short-term future. After that, moving towards a more controlled period prior to love emerging in a much bigger and better way. The Hierophant card does speak about good, wise communication at times. Okay, as well as revealing hidden secrets and providing extra benefits for both of you. The long term is looking okay. Getting to the long term will be hard, but I believe you can do it. So yes, I think you may be able to come together as a family again. Okay, Jennifer, very quickly, thank you very much for the private message to say thank you for the reading. I'm glad everything's gone according to plan, and I'm glad you're happy with it and things are starting to work out well for you. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for the thanks you've given me. I don't always get that in this job, and when I get good feedback, it's always very valuable for me, and it really helps me in my job. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, a bit of an odd inquiry. Ballycry has asked, what does it mean to have the Lovers, the Devil and the Five of Cups coming out in a particular reading? Well, the fact you've got some love signs in the Cup suit, that can be seen as being a positive thing, but the Five of Cups is not always positive. Sometimes it can speak about some negative things such as disappointment or anxiety. It depends whether it came out upright or reversed, and it also depends upon the nature of the precise situation. The Devil card can also speak about powerlessness. Okay, powerlessness and difficulty. So essentially you're dealing with an individual who's trying to get out of a difficult situation, finds it very hard to do so, has come across a lot of disappointments and negativity in their life, and is struggling to see the good in a very, very bad situation. The energy of that particular spread is that there is hope on the other side of the trials and tribulations that they're going through. It's more a question of trying to get there, and it should be a spur to the side for the individual to try and work out how to go about creating change for themselves. Alright, it appears like you were doing a reading for someone who was really going through some difficulties. A lot of the blocks and obstacles were probably internal in terms of the way in which they approach some serious issues of life. So it could be a wide variety of issues, but my feeling here is that it's more to do with struggling out of a very real dark situation, which is making them see everything in a black or bleak light. And just very quickly, the Lovers card speaks about more responsibility. So that's an extra message talking about change is required and change of perspective is required. Okay? Bastet 764 wants to know whether opening a particular type of shop is essentially right for Bastet at the moment. Okay, let's just have a quick look and see basically what's coming through there, what the reading is suggesting from here onwards. Okay, and it's like a confirmation reading because Bastet has done another one for themselves. Let's have a quick look. Before I tell you the answer of what the reading is telling me, the word should not be in your vocabulary when you're asking a reading for anything, or asking a reader anything. It really shouldn't be there. You know why? Because you should not be allowing the reading to do the thinking for you. Okay? So I'll tell you what the reading is suggesting my end. It's a 4-card spread. There's the first 2. Essentially, the main message of the reading is that this is a long-felt want, something you always wanted to achieve, something that would, in your own mind's eye, bring about a sense of status, and also will probably give you some financial benefits as well. You're concerned about how you're going to do it. This is something you've probably never done before, and there's a fear of failure there and anxiety, which is, of course, perfectly rational, because you need to be well situated to be able to open up a shop, especially in this particular economy at the moment. And I mean quite well situated. You've got to ask yourself, are you? And do you have tons of money? And also you've got to think about the time, the organisation, and everything else. So essentially you've got a lot of planning to do prior to making up your mind completely and utterly, basically. Progression into the future. Okay, there are some signs of potential happiness and success, but I think that the Knight of Wands there is trying to teach me, or trying to tell me, that you'll have to put a lot of effort into this if you're going to get anywhere, let alone to a successful level. So that's something else to bear in mind too. It's not going to be sorted out overnight, so be aware of that. Okay, Blissful Girl 22 wants to see whether all of her dreams are going to come true. Not that sort of dream, proper dreams, you know. House, car, job, husband, children, all the rest of that sort of thing. Now, I won't read on pregnancy, medical matters or childbirth for legal and ethical reasons, okay? It's a major theme with Nick Dutch because I don't break the law in my country, unlike a lot of the rioters and looters that we have in this part of the world at the moment. Despicable people they are. Anyway, on with the reading. Okay, we do have signs of strength and power and dedication associated with you, okay? And that's combined with even more financial signs there suggesting that gaining your financial stability is going to happen for you. But essentially the power comes from within. The power comes from knowing that you've already got some good skills which you can give to the world anyway, and it's a question of finding the right opportunity. We got some signs of failure, which means that on the road to developing this particular wonderful future of yours, you're going to come across a fair few obstacles, so essentially you've got things to address on the way. But generally speaking, you know, it's not looking bad at all. The energy I've got here is picturing you as someone who is passionate, who is powerful, and you can go against the current. So essentially you're going to have a few setbacks first prior to getting there. But the reading is still saying strength, power, wealth, stability. We've got signs of definite victory around the corner for you as well as knowing and understanding the people you'll be dealing with when getting there. Everything is people driven, okay? Whenever you're building a business, whenever you're working in a company, whenever you're building a relationship or starting up something new for yourself, it's always people related. You've got a lot of the skills there already to do quite well. It's now a question of moving things on one or two stages, okay? And I feel that that could actually occur for you too. Okay, Daniel, you've been through a bit of a rough time recently. There's been an awful lot of things going on, big time. Let's just see if we can get the improvement coming through, and also to look out for academic signs. Of course, you did mention university and getting your studies sorted out there. Have a look at the Open University or similar distance learning, because essentially there may be some good, legal, ethical, proper academic institutions who can work on a distance basis as well as a brick and mortar university. Let's have a quick look and see what's happening there for you. Hallelujah. Hard rock hallelujah. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Bit of a similar message to what we had before, but you're going to get basically your heart's desire. Okay, the star card is brilliant, especially with an inquiry of this nature. The star card encapsulates the romantic, the career aspirations, the social progression aspirations, and it's all there within the same meaning of the same card. It's a beautiful image and a beautiful impression. And the road which you're going to go through to get there. In this case, the Six of Swords is not talking about planning and preparation. You've got a good plan as to where you're going to go and what you're going to do, and you know you want to be able to achieve that. The planning is already there. But in this case, I think it's the academic message there. We've got the mercurial signs, we've got the air signs, we've got a sense of something from the heart, sort of like carrying you further forward, and also building something which is well designed, like a beautiful piece of geometry, which is sort of coming through to me there in the Six of Swords. So essentially, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, do we have any earth signs here talking about your career progression? All these signs are talking about things happening at roughly the same time. So, you know, the progression there, that covers both love and work. And this covers both love and work. It's a female significator, a strong individual who you can like reflect back on or bounce ideas off, who's also going to help you to develop that level of stability that you want. We got more loving signs coming for you. Romantically, maybe 4 months down the line from now, okay, that's going to happen. Don't worry. Keep yourself in a good, structured, orderly manner so you will be attractive to the right quality of individual. So it's looking really rather nice. Now, if I had that combination of signs there for a reading for me, basically I would be over the moon. Seriously over the moon. Okay, Steely Tara, as far as your passport application is concerned, that'll be up to you to try and work out and see whether you can get that sorted out anyway. Okay, that's you know, your affair. As far as should you do this or not, that's again up to you to decide. I'm not going to have a look at that. What I will have a look at is this connection with this mystery individual whose name you don't want me to mention, and we'll see basically what's happening there as far as the music career is concerned, and as far as, you know, everything else is concerned, if you get my drift. Right, here we go. Okay, now as far as music is concerned, this individual you're going to learn an awful lot more from with the passage of time. At the moment you feel kind of like held back, but you are aware that there is this like career future, you know, there for you. His energy is very pure, very clean and very clear. He's got an incredibly disciplined and structured way of living. I don't think he'll necessarily get on as characters, but as someone who can mentor you in terms of music, whether over distance or whether straight up, you know, face to face, so to speak. He's someone who could really, really help. The energy I've got associated with this is actually looking really rather interesting around about your midterm future, which is when even more of a sense of something to do with work, alright, and something entrepreneurial. It's a young male significator within the coin suit. It's talking about your own individual entrepreneurial flair and your ability to achieve great things. That's happening there for you. Again, a few months down the line from now, this individual could be very useful for you. Okay, it'll be worthwhile trying to network with people he knows, getting to know him bit by bit, remotely and then eventually in person. And make sure your work is already good enough for him to obviously be interested in you. Okay, Andy Kitts wants to know whether Andy should start contracting as instead of going full-time permanent, which is what he's been doing before. Let's see. Well, all I can do is tell you what the reading says about that. Remember, the word should is naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay, you don't, you know, that's not really what you should be asking, because you're the final decision maker in your life, and don't let anybody take that away from you. Okay, but essentially, as far as would you be able to survive if you're a contractor, you've got to get your name out there first. Okay, we've got good signs of financial gain, namely improving your income base with the passage of time if you went to do contracting work. So yes, that would actually be quite a good move for you. But you've got to be clever about it. If you're becoming a contractor, you're becoming self-employed, which means you've got to make sure that all the agencies know who you are. Everyone who's in the industry knows who you are. You've got to have a great internet profile. You've got to have a wonderful CV, and you've got to basically promote yourself purely to contraction agencies. But once you're in contracting, it'll be very hard to get back to permanent work because, of course, the recruiters and the HR people will just look at your CV or resume and they'll say to themselves, this is someone who is a contractor. So getting from contractor work back to permanent could actually be very hard for you. That's something I would say, but the quantity of determination we got there is very, very good. The quantity of sole purpose there is very, very good as well. So it's all connected to some potentials as a contractor. So I'd say this is actually very, very good potential for you. Hello, Karen. You're running an internet business and you're doing some e-publishing as well. Okay, vegan makeup brushes. Cool. Alright, now the makeup cosmetics market is still quite big, but you've got to get a name for yourself anyway. Just like the previous inquirer, you've got to get a name for yourself. And that's essentially one of your key tasks at the moment. Like, I'm trying to get a name for myself through doing these shows for you, okay? So I can do some free work, so essentially I can then, that'll help me out as well. I mean, I'm quite honest about that. This is about self-promotion as well as doing something good for people, okay? And I'm sure that maybe if you did something similar to start getting yourself known, then maybe you'd have many more chances of being successful in the longer term future. So bear that in mind. Here we go. Okay, again, very nice, very similar signs we got out to the last reading, and maybe there's a reason for that, okay? Primarily because you're still in the same kind of situation. You've got a great quantity of talent, you've got a great quantity of knowledge, you just still need to get your name out there, to get your message out there. Especially if you're thinking about something big for the longer term future, and it's not just for yourself, it's for other people as well, isn't it? Because if you're instructing people about something which is very personal to them, the way that they look, then essentially that's there to help them out, give them self-esteem, help them to achieve anything. Whenever someone goes to a job interview, if they look basically like rubbish, they will sound like rubbish, if you get my drift. But if they feel like radiance, they feel handsome or beautiful or whatever, then essentially, you'll still be able to help. And as far as your books are concerned, that's all about perspective. So essentially, you know what you want to be able to achieve. It's now a question of getting out there and doing it. But I believe that there's opportunities there for you to do some great stuff. I think so. Again, after shuffling very thoroughly, the same sign has come through yet again. Nothing wrong with my shuffling, but there's a reason for that. Okay? But we've also got signs relating to nurturing, compassion, having compassion for other people, bringing compassion into your business, into the work in which you're doing, to make sure that you get the results that you're after, okay? It's a very important sense that we've got there in this particular reading, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. The energy I've got associated with your longer term future is not looking too bad at all. And again, you're also being portrayed in a very powerful and passionate way, so it really is not looking too bad whatsoever. So the financial aspect's definitely going to be there, but you've still got to get there bit by bit. I believe in you, is what I would say, okay? But you've still got to work on promotion, getting the message out. Hello, Abba Supper. You're curious about any potential long-term life partner. We'll have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Here we go. Right, okay. Yeah, I'm getting a very interesting impression from this. This person is slightly taller than you. They definitely have a very stable life and background, yes. They used to be rather unbalanced and inappropriate in some ways, but they've also learned an awful lot more about themselves. So someone who's had a bad past and has been able to change. Something very rare, okay, has happened with that individual. And I think they've got a great quantity of life experience to go through and go with. There's someone who maybe is doing something of a spiritual or self-developmental or therapeutic nature at the moment, who's that you might actually find a bit difficult. It might even cringe against you to a certain degree. But be patient with this individual, because although, it's going to be slow developing, happening in the early part of next year, it's not happening just yet. This is going to be still providing you with that feeling of something celebratory, and of course the stability that you're after. So, and yes, this could be a life partner. As far as name is concerned, I don't know. I'm not receiving that. But the character is quite interesting, and I think you'll get on very well. There's a great sense of compatibility there. Okay, Ellie's got a complex one. Ellie is someone who's gone through a bit of a breakup, wants to know whether anyone else is on the horizon for her, and also whether she can redeem something from the existing relationship. I'll do 2 readings in parallel. We'll do the 8-card relationship reading, we'll do a second reading in parallel with that to see about anyone new coming into your life. Let's have a quick look. 8-card relationship reading with your ex. Here we go. Alright. Okay, out of balance, but getting there. The sense I've got between yourself and your ex is you're basically opposites attract. And that's basically what it was. Signs on your side of things, very loving and very compassionate, very communication orientated and driven. You're very intelligent, but essentially, you sometimes let your hearts rule your head, and that's something you got to change around. On his side of things, he sees himself, I will say, okay? He sees himself as being young, dynamic, energetic, go-getting, and all the rest of that, but I feel he's not quite there, if you get my drift, alright? So instead he tends to literally go around in circles, but he's quite satisfied being in a bit of a dream world. So he's misinterpreted what the relationship was about in the first place, and that's where a lot of the problems could be. There are some straight and strong love signs in the future part of the reading, but I think that in your particular case, you've got to think about whether you want to carry on listening to your heart or listening to your head. Alright, as to whether you choose to carry on, because you can have a loving relationship with him once he's turned the corner, which won't be just yet, but will be happening, okay? And then you can start rebuilding what you once had. But you've got to make a free will decision, and an important free will decision as to whether you wish to be involved with this person, taking into account that this is an individual who's got difficulties. Alright, that's the real big issue. Now, the second spread I'm going to do for you is to see whether this other individual is going to come in, to see basically what else is going to happen there. Yeah, we got signs of victory there. We got very good signs of love. I'll just show you them there. There we go. Victory coming out in the Chariot card, and love pure and perfect coming out with the 2 of Cups, okay, which is absolutely wonderful, bringing about a sense of stability and, in this case, satisfaction with their nature and with the way in which they're engaging with you and your bond. So, really quite good, really quite interesting there. I think that new individual will definitely raise some very strong potential positives for yourself. So definitely at least consider them. Okay. Right, now those are all the readings I'm going to be doing for today. I admit I've got a bit of a backlog, there's just about 3 or 4 more to go, but don't worry, they'll be included at the beginning of next week's tarot show. If you'd like to request a reading yourself, then send it through via email to nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to help and oblige, okay? Remember, I don't deal with pregnancy, medical matters, or childbirth. There's some legal questions I won't want to touch. As far as marriage is concerned, that will be a free will issue once you've reached that level of connectivity between yourself and your partner, and that's what you've got to bear in mind as well, okay? There's lots of other, complex. This is actually quite a complex, nuanced service that I provide, and it depends upon the individual, their energy, and basically what's really been going on in their life, as to what, all kinds of things can happen. All right, as well as anything that pops in up here, anything that pops out here. I'll give you a little story. I do this in parties and entertainment events, and I went to one recently, and there was this mother and her 2 children, and the little kid said, do one for me. And the mother said, yeah, do one for him. So I did, and I got an image of him being a lawyer, and I thought, what the heck, he's a little 10-year-old kid, why would I be seeing signs of him being a lawyer? And I says, well, there's something about the legal profession about you, and the kid says, that's right, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Weird stuff happens when you do a reading, it's just the way it is. Anyway, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, favorite, and share, please. Don't forget to vote for me in the awards. Don't forget that I've also got a blog TV channel, I've also got a Twitter feed, I've got lots of other stuff. It's all down there, including Blog Talk Radio. I did promise to do a radio show during the past week. I didn't get around to doing it because lots of stuff happened, but I will be doing one pretty soon, I promise, okay? And that'll be live call-in for anyone who's interested. And for the moment, don't forget, the tarot reading, psychic reading, clairvoyant reading, mediumship reading, and all the rest is legally regarded as an entertainment service for good common sense reasons. So don't forget that. And I'll leave you with that thought, and if you need me anytime, I'm sure you can catch up with me here on The Tarot Show with the great and glorious Nick Dutch. Bye for now.